My next guest is on the massage table, and he should be relaxed because he's heading into a pretty big fight coming up here on July 31st. He's going to be taking on featherweight champion Patricio Pitbull Freite. It's AJ McKee back here on the program. AJ, how's it going?
Oh, man, another day in paradise. How you doing today, James?
Doing well. I've done a lot of interviews. I think this might be my first one on a massage table, but I'll take it. Good catching up with you, man. Just first off, I got to start with the hair. What made you decide to grow it out for this fight? Because, I don't know if you're superstitious or not. Apparently not.
Nah, man, nothing superstitious. I was just getting tired of getting haircuts every week, having to deal with it and do it. So I was growing it out, and then it got a little too long to the point to where it wouldn't curl up anymore. So, well, it was just beyond curly, and I was like, let's braid it up. You know what I mean? But for the fight, I don't think I'll be having braids. I'll be taking these out.
Okay, that makes sense. How often were you getting haircuts?
It's like a every week type thing.
Wow. Okay. Didn't know it was that serious.
You gotta stay trimmed up and nice, And I like the rough look a little bit, So.
Yeah, I think it works, man. It looks great. Any idea why this fight took so long to book? Was it because they wanted to get fans back in the arena for this one?
I believe they wanted to get fans back in the arena, and then obviously Patricio coming off of his fight with what's his name, Emmanuel Sanchez. He needed a little rest, even though he went out there and finished him pretty quick. This thing's no joke, boy. Yeah, you got that one, just one. Yeah, so I think that was just a big part in it, and trying to look. He's got my hands jumping and he's touching my back. That is wild.
We'll crop this thing up a little bit. This video, yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah. So he needed some time after the Sanchez fight, is basically what you were saying, yeah.
Yeah, I think he needed some time, and maybe just a little bit of time for him to be able to game plan in a sense. He doesn't really know what I'm going to do, so he's got to go to the drawing board, kind of watch some fights and figure out what he wants to do.
Yeah, I caught your quote at the media day, and you made a good point that a lot of people know what type of style he's going to bring to the table. How much of an advantage is it for you that, and this is something we talked about in interviews, we haven't even seen you at 100% yet in terms of what your arsenal is in the cage?
You're good. And that's the crazy part. And I feel like the deeper the fight goes, every time, the deeper the fight goes, the more I get tired. That's when I start to pull things out of the woodwork, and that's when I begin to truly fight. And that's when I'm most dangerous, is when I'm tired. When I'm fresh, I'm doing what I love to do. I'm having fun, picking people apart and so forth.
Why do you think so many fighters have had a hard time defeating him? He's lost before, but they've been close fights. Why do you think so many have not been able to defeat him?
Well, I think they go in there with the mindset of they need to beat him, and they need to they have to bring the fight to him. And he's such a well counter fighter because of obviously his reach being so small. He's good at reading footwork. So when guys are lunging forward and jumping in at him, he'll just backstep a couple times, get you comfortable lunging forward, and then he'll initiate his punches off of that and lunge forward, and that creates like quadruple the power for him, and he's already a power puncher, so that's how he catches people.
How much do you sort of look at the fact that he's taken, he has a lot more fights than you do, but he's also taken a lot of damage in a lot of those fights? You really haven't been hit that much. How much do you think that's an advantage?
Man, youth is key. Those prime years, that's where it's at. So I think it's a great advantage, but I don't know. I don't really pay attention to who he's fought, what's going on. Like I said at the beginning of this tournament, we both started as 0-0, and now we're both 3-0. So I'm looking forward to staying undefeated and being 4-0 through this tournament and bringing home that world title.
Was there anything different for this camp, or did you keep things pretty much business as usual?
Business as usual. This is a fight where we've prepared for this fight for 17 fights. So, yeah, man, at this point, we've been focused. He's been the man holding that strap since I first signed to the organization. So we're looking forward to just going in there and implementing everything that we've put into camps, camp after camp, the ins and outs. All our combinations have been worked around Patricio. The jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, like everything's been geared towards him. And at the end of the day, I can say what I'm going to do until I go in there and that door closes and that bell goes ding. Some stuff just goes out the window, but your true core roots of what you've trained are what comes out. He's going to throw that cross hook. He's going to throw that hook cross. Those are his roots. I'm going to throw kicks. I'm going to be throwing left hands. Those are my roots.
Training partners, same cast of characters, Joey Davis, Baby Slice, anyone new in there, or is it just the same guys?
Same guys, man. We got the OG vets, Conor Hyatt, the One Man Riot. He's a big training partner of mine. He beat Cub Swanson's brother, so he's a banger. He's got great timing. He's got a great hook as well. He's knocked many people out with that hook. So that was my main partner, Adrian Nahara for the wrestling, Joey Davis for the wrestling. But in all honesty, I don't think he's gonna wrestle. Something that kind of clicked in my head at the interviews. He's always been one to tell everybody he's gonna kill them and knock them out. He didn't say he's gonna knock me out. He said he's gonna submit me, which either shows me he wants me to wrestle, or he thinks I'm going to wrestle, or I don't know, man. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I definitely know I'm in his head. So that's the good part for me, just making sure I go out there and do what I do best.
And we're like 2 weeks out from the fight. Weight cut, I assume, is going well. I know as you get a little bit older, that gets a little bit tougher.
Thank you. Man, weight cut's been phenomenal. I'm at about 160 pounds. Coming out of practice, about 155, anywhere from 155 to 160 on a bad day. I don't go over 165. That's like you're entering trouble zone. So yeah, but I like to be about 155. 155 is ideal for me. That's like the lowest I'll get until obviously probably next week.
Okay, that makes sense. We know your dad's going to be in your corner. Who else will be in the cage with you that night?
I'll have Rampage in my corner.
Awesome.
Yeah, got to bring the OGs out. I'll have Rampage in my corner. I was looking to have Woodley in my corner, but obviously him having an upcoming fight and so forth, he's going to be training. Who else? Conor Hyatt, my best friend Q, and another best friend. I have to lose one, but I haven't figured out who I'm going to cut yet. But hopefully I can just have everybody there still in the back as a support system, you know what I mean? And in all honesty, the only one I really need is my father,
Yeah.
He's going to be the only one in there talking anyways, Everybody else is just bonus to have in the corner.
Have you seen Woodley at all since they announced the Paul fight? Has he come in and trained with you at all?
Yeah, I just saw Woodley, I believe, last week.
Cool. And how's he looking? Obviously, big fight against Jake Paul.
Good, man. I got to work with him a lot previously, his last UFC fight. So I think you can tell, he's got a little fire back in him after that fight. I told him, I'm like, hey, bro, just go out there and go out on your shield. You know what I mean? Like, hesitating and not fighting is worse than at least going out on your shield. You know what I mean? And that's what he did his last UFC fight. He went out there and he gave it all he could. And honestly, I felt like he was doing great. So that's off of a week and a half of training with us. So sky is the limit, man. Especially if he's going to do MMA still. I think we'll see him in our gym a lot more frequent.
And you mentioned Rampage there. What is he up to these days? I know he's not fighting anymore. It doesn't seem like he is.
I think he might be making a comeback. I think, everybody comes to Body Shop for that fine tune-up, including Chuck Liddell. I think that's a big accolade for my father to work with Chuck Liddell on his very last fight. That kind of says something about who my father is as a trainer for Chuck to come and train with us, So Rampage, we got his son as well, little Raja, the clone. He's out here, he's got his first amateur fight coming up next month. So
does he really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's family ties over here. We got it all hopping off and jumping off over here.
Good stuff, man. Back to your fight. How's this fight playing out? I know you feel like you're going to get your hand raised, but how do you envision the fight playing out on July 31st?
This is gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be I don't want to say how I'm gonna do it, but it's gonna be a finish. I've actually already dreamt it. I had a dream standing over him, so I know how it's gonna happen. I just don't know when, but I think for sure it's gonna happen in 2 rounds. I'm looking for a first round finish though. I'm looking for a first round finish. I feel like he's gonna come out once he feels the range and the power. He's gonna realize like, oh shit, I have to deal with this for 25 minutes. I don't think so. And then he's gonna start to get desperate, and that's when I'm gonna see an opportunity and I'm gonna capitalize off of it.
I know you visualized it a million times, but do you get emotional when you think of the fact that you could win the title and just seeing your dad after the fight and everything you guys have been through? Because he's not only your father, your coach, but he's one of your best friends. Is that something that kind of gets you teared up a little bit just thinking about it?
Definitely, I'm sure I'm definitely gonna ball up and sit in the middle of that cage, say a nice prayer, and cry it out. You know what I mean? It's been 25 years in the making for this. 22. Well, I'm 26. Yeah, 22 years of training. Literally 22 years of training has been built up for this moment. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be super fun. And that's the big key, is having fun, embracing it, enjoying it. I've been doing more interviews than I've ever done in my life, but I'm not letting it get to me. I'm embracing it, and I feel like that's the good part of it now, is that I'm able to embrace it and just, that's part of being a star. You gotta be able to deal with the ins and outs of it.
For sure. And speaking of which, I know you got to get the rest of your body done here, but I only got a few more quick questions. With the win here, where would that put you in the pound for pound discussion? I know it's a term that people don't like hearing, but you would be one of the most prominent fighters in MMA with the fact that he has 2 belts.
I feel like that puts him already being at pound for pound, I would say top 5 in the world. Me going out there and beating him in a notable fashion like I'm going to, it just kind of solidifies my undefeated record that I'm the new wave, I'm the next generation. And yeah, pound for pound, man, what's up? Like I've said, unify these belts, and I'm willing to put my million up. I'm sure Showtime will put their million up. Bellator could put a million up, and let's test the waters, man. Let's see who really is pound for pound the best in the world. ONE FC, UFC, PFL. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I know I'm one of the most elite athletes in the world in this sport, and I'm willing to show it. I'm willing to test my skills, but I don't think other people are willing to do it because they know.
Speaking of cross promotion, Brian Ortega and Volkanovski are fighting for their UFC title. Just as a fellow featherweight, how do you see that fight playing out?
I don't know, but I do owe Brian Ortega a triangle. He choked me out with one when I was like 19. So, hey, what's up? Let's do something, Nothing personal, but like my entire life, I've put together a hit list from everybody in the gym that used to bully me and so forth to just people that have had one up on me. And right now, Ortega has one up on me. He put me in a triangle when I was like 18, 19. So I got to get back. And it's nothing personal, but we can fight for who's the king of LA.
Who else is on that list, just out of curiosity, that you can remember?
Well, it's not really a list at that point anymore. Max Holloway, that I feel like that would just be a great super fight. Him being one of the most elite strikers in mixed martial arts, especially in our division. I would love to just share that moment with him. Floyd, that's obviously one. Me trying to be the money man of MMA. It's not about beating Floyd. It's about just being, like I said, sharing that moment with him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's why I understand that he doesn't want to fight anymore. Why? You got young YouTubers in here trying to knock his head off of his shoulders. And it's like, bro, like this man, he's achieved everything in his life already. Like he's trying to help you out. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So for me, man, I feel like it'd be an honor to share that moment with him and kind of have like a nice sparring match. You know what I mean? That's the way I would see it. I'm not trying to knock his head off his shoulders, but like just to test my skills with his skills in his world and to be able to share that moment, his greatness with my greatness, and being undefeated, man. He beat up Conor, but Conor, we all know Conor, he likes the ways out. You give him a way out and he'll take it.
How much have you learned from Conor McGregor? I know you mentioned it in the media day about just, him, with his money and all that stuff. I'm sure you take a bit of his promotional side, but also some of the mistakes he's made as well, too.
A lot, man. I feel like if I was in his shoes and I was throwing fucking dollies at buses and shit, it'd be a different layout of what happens for me versus him. So yeah, that's obviously key, but I'm not a big shit talker like that. And at the end of the day, the Mystic Mac is who he says that person is. But I feel like the Mystic Mac kind of took over him in a sense, to the point to where he became, he just didn't have boundaries. You know what I mean? Your wife's in my DM, and like, man, you just gotta have that level of respect. Like, it's cool to sell the show and get you to that point to where you need to be, but I don't know, man. I already feel like people look at mixed martial artists as like mixed martial arts as the wild, wild west. And then obviously us being the villains in the sport, being able to fight. And, people don't really know how to gauge us. So it's like they already think we're hot-headed and crazy people. So we don't really need that rep. All of us are really down-to-earth people, real loving for the most part. So I feel like just really showing people a different scene of who MMA fighters are, and that's my goal. Just to be great. Change the sport, because at the end of the day, I do have a 3-year-old little brother who's going to be fighting as well, and he'll be an 18-year-old world champ, hands down. And yeah, just changing the sport for him.
Speaking of changing the sport, have you kind of thought about the magnitude of you winning with the fact that you're a homegrown Bellator product who's undefeated, and just what that would do for the promotion? Because they haven't had an American like undefeated, star for Bellator that's become a champion that is also a very good self-promoter as well too.
Well, they don't have any undefeated stars out of America besides Floyd. Khabib, who else has done it? Especially being in a different organization outside of UFC. Like I said, let's unify the belts. I don't think that's something certain people are willing to do, but supply and demand. That's the key to this world: supply and demand. And the people are requesting this certain specific fight, and they want to see it. Then hey, like, meet the supply, meet the demand. I think in the near future we'll see the sport start to change, and especially with me going and dethroning Patricio after his first title, and then coming in for his second world title at 155 pounds and becoming a champ. At that point, I've solidified a stamp on my career and my record that man, no one can take those accolades from me. So before Conor did it, I said I was gonna do it. Before Patricio did it, I said I was gonna do it. So being able to see these guys do it, and then now it being within grasping reach, it's phenomenal. It's tremendous, and I'm looking forward to doing it. So this next step is going to open up many more chapters in my life, and many more doors. I'm very happy with the collab with Showtime. It just shows, we got big money involved. We've got a boxing agency that has Showtime knows what they're doing when it comes to promotion, when it comes to putting super fights on. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing, and also crossing over into the boxing world and getting my feet wet over there.
We'll have to talk about that boxing stuff in the next interview. But AJ, thanks so much for doing this, man. I know you're doing massages, you're doing everything, but you always make time for me, man. I really appreciate it. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here, I'll give you the last word.
Anytime. Thanks for having me. God bless always. And yeah, I'll be speaking with you soon after I get this title under my belt one time.